And welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins 0. In the last episode, Rintaro Okabe had a somewhat interesting conversation with Mayuri, Ferris and Rukuko, having arrived back in Akihabara once again after spending several months away in the life of an ordinary college student. And things got a bit awkward between Rintaro, Ferris and Ruka, but Mayuri managed to kind of have a temporary ceasefire, and she also wants to have a Christmas celebration for Suzuha Mane on Christmas Eve. And Rintaro is following behind, wondering what it would be like if Kurisu were here in this particular world line. I tried my hardest for the past few months not to think about her, but was it because of my experience yesterday that I did anyway? The expressions and little mannerisms that I'd seen yesterday, the voice, the way she walked, I remembered everything. I remembered my conversation with her.
Okabe Rintaro さん。はじめまして、Makise Kurisu です。
And we're flashing back to the events of the 28th, and our conversation with Amadeus Kurisu, the artificial rendition of Kurisu Makise, constructed from her memories all the way back in March.
どうぞよろしく。
Nice to meet you as well, Amadeus. I couldn't respond at all. Something felt slightly off about the way Kurisu moved on the screen. Well, this digital incarnation is nothing more than a CG rendition, but it is very lifelike. But it was really slight. I get used to it soon. More importantly, the voice and the way she spoke were exactly like the real Kurisu Makise. I almost cried. It's a good thing we didn't start having a panic attack, and it was all I could do to stop it from breaking down.
先輩、そちらは深夜というわけではないですよね。
I think it's daytime. The camera on the PC switched from me to Maho, so Amadeus Kurisu is using the camera to view the outside world.
ええ、違うけれどなぜ？お二人とももしかして眠いのではないかと。
No, we're not sleepy. We're just in complete and absolute shock at seeing a dead woman on a screen right before us, right before our eyes. Was she talking about the fact that I didn't respond to her introduction?
私はさっきまで寝ていたけれど、今はもうしゃっきり目が覚めているわ。
And I think Rintaro is also 100% awake as well.
だらしないのは相変わらずですね。
And that mannerism right there, as well as that sentence, was entirely not unlike the real Makise Kurisu Makise.
失礼なことを言わないで。
では先輩、もう一つ質問しても？
ええ、何？
岡 部倫太郎さんとはどういう関係ですか？
Since the memories of Kurisu are from March, this will technically be yet another first-time encounter. Which is only going to make things a little bit more awkward than they need to be.
この前の ATF セミナーに参加してくれた学生よ。なかなか研究熱心だと思ったから連れてきたの。
Indeed, and we really thought that the Amadeus presentation at UPX was actually really something. Maho decided not to tell Amadeus that I was a friend of Kurisu's before she died. Why, I wonder? Does that mean that, I'm pretty sure that would mean that Amadeus Kurisu is perfectly aware of her real-life counterpart's death. Did she not want Amadeus to find out? Or perhaps it's the reverse. Or was I supposed to tell her myself? Come to think of it, Maho warned us not to bond too closely to Amadeus Kurisu. She may be built from the memories of Kurisu, but those memories only go so far.
先輩にそう言われるなんて大したものですね。
And she seems to get a kick out of embarrassing her mentor. The Kurisu on screen turned to me and smiled. That mannerism is too lifelike for your own good, Amadeus. Calm down.
岡部さん、専攻はやはり脳科学ですか？
Unfortunately, Rintaro is not a brain scientist in the slightest.
それは
It's just that we learned a lot about neuroscience from your real-life counterpart. The words got stuck in my throat. I said calm down. You know this is just a program, an AI. Her words, appearance, even the conversation she's having with you right now, they're all artificial. But even though I knew that, I still couldn't speak. I had no idea what to say. And more than that, the words "nice to meet you" hit me harder than I thought they would. This wasn't the Kurisu I spent those 3 weeks with. Maho had told me this ahead of time, and I thought I'd understood it, but hearing it for myself hurt more than I imagined. And that would also mean that Amadeus Kurisu doesn't have the memories of the Kurisu from July 28th either. I regretted not taking my anxiety meds, but it was too late now. My heart rate soared and my breathing became irregular. My head was spinning and the corners of my vision were beginning to dim. At some point, my lips had gone totally dry. Things are already off to a bad start.
岡部さん、
And as before, Amadeus Kurisu's mannerisms of worry towards Rintaro Okabe are too lifelike. Far too lifelike. Kurisu sounded worried. That voice software must be pretty good if it can handle nuances like that. Even her facial expression. If we didn't know better, we would say that Amadeus Kurisu is actually worried about
彼の
us.
専攻は脳科学ではないわ。
Fortunately, we have Maho to fill in the blanks.
だけど私たちの研究にとても興味があるんですって。
It would probably help that if Amadeus Kurisu maintains a neutral expression.
レスキネン教授も気に入ってるみたいだし、いずれは私の助手にでもしてやろうかと思っているところよ。
That's certainly somewhat of an amusing irony, Rintaro Okabe being someone else's assistant. My head snapped up in surprise at Maho's bizarre statement. Me? Maho's assistant? Then I go to Victor Contra University? Well, there's your in, Rintaro.
あら、お気に召さない？
No, I jump at the chance to work at Victor
お
Condria.
気に召すとか召さないとかそういう問題じゃなくて、
Of course, there is one slight problem.
冗談だけれどね。
She was joking. Well,
冗談？
that was our in, and it's gone just like that.
もしかして本気にした？
信じちゃいない。
Yeah, that's not really much of a cover there, Rintaro. I wasn't going to tell her that I almost did.
そう。でも、もっともっと勉強してくれれば、あながち冗談じゃなくなるかもしれないわよ。
Well, we'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way, I
仮にそう
suppose.
だとしても、レスキネン教授の助手がいい。
This was my way of getting back at her. To be fair, Leskinen does have a somewhat overly cheerful demeanor.
教
Although he
授の
can
助手
take
って
things a bit too
思っ
far.
ている以上に大変よ。あの方は本当に子供だから。
I think I gathered that from the after dinner reception, or the post-seminar reception. As she spoke, she quietly came over next to me and tapped me on the arm a few times. I see. So that was it. She was making a joke to try and calm me down.
悪かった。ありがとう。
Yeah, we should probably appreciate that.
何のことかしら？
And Maho is feigning ignorance. I didn't think subtlety was her thing. Maybe I was wrong.
先輩、ちょっと。
And it seems that Amadeus Kurisu has something to say. Kurisu beckons to Maho from within the screen in a very human manner. Looks like she wants to talk to Maho in private.
もうちょっとこっち。スピーカーに寄ってください。
Maho moved her ear closer to the speaker. I was just thinking about how weird it was when...
は？
Maho suddenly turned bright red and shouted at the screen.
そんなわけないでしょ。何を言ってるのあなた。
そんなに照れなくても。
Something tells me that Maho has every right to be embarrassed after what Amadeus Kurisu just
照れて
whispered
るわ
in
けじゃ
her
ないわ。
ear.
とにかくおかしなことを言うのはやめて。
そうですか？
そうです。
And my intuition is telling me it would be very dangerous for us to pry into this conversation.
一体何の話を？
I think we're about to step onto a landmine here, Rintaro. Brace yourself. It was obvious that Kurisu had whispered something to Maho, and judging from the expression on Amadeus Kurisu, this little AI apparently seems amused by Maho's reaction. What did she say? Maho glanced at me, and I think the look on her face tells us that she really doesn't want to talk about it. Scratch that. She really doesn't want to talk about it. And for some reason, she blushed and turned away. Ah, I see. From the way Maho was acting, and what I knew about Kurisu, there was only one possibility.
このスイーツかっこ笑い目。
That's Kurisu Makise in a nutshell. Mainstream woman. A pejorative term used to refer to girls who are easily influenced by trends or who think in ways that men find impossible to understand. However, it is said that the only people who use it often are boys who have very little experience with women. I whispered a name I'd often teased Kurisu with, and suddenly felt a lot better. Of course, as Amadeus Kurisu actually overheard us, we probably won't be able to get out of the situation. She must have said something stupid like, "You two make a good couple," or "You finally found a man." Huh? It seems that Kurisu, the real Kurisu Makise, has a side hobby of trying to be a matchmaker of sorts. The way that she looked at a boy and a girl holding a friendly conversation and immediately assumed they were dating was just like the Kurisu I knew. Sheesh, what a system. This AI works too well. It didn't need to be that true to her personality, did it? I chuckled. Do you think this Kurisu also browses @channel when Maho and the professor aren't looking too? Only if Amadeus Kurisu starts inadvertently dropping memes in her sentences every once in a while, whether she's surprised or angry. For those of you who don't know what @channel is, I'm about to explain. It's basically a huge anonymous message board that is the largest of its kind in Japan. Its catchphrases everything from hacking to tonight's dinner, and its message boards discuss everything from underground topics to normal news. The real-life Kurisu Makise was a very devoted @channeler. Nah, knowing her, she's probably commenting. I remember Kurisu once browsed @channel on the Future Gadget Laboratory's computer when she knew no one else was around. I think she posted under the name Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha. There's a flashback of that particular experience.
お前はやるべきことをサボって何を見ていた?
And Kurisu trying to hide the fact that she's browsing @channel, but Rintaro and Daru and even Mayuri kind of suspected that she was a @channeler extraordinaire. By the way, a lot of the music in the Steins Gate Zero visual novel is actually used in the anime itself, which I actually like. There are all the ad channel posts that Kurisu has been filing under the name of Kurigohan and Kamehameha.
Oi, その、あーこれはひどい。はいはいワロスワロスみたいな笑い方はなんだ。
And I believe I said something along the lines of, at this moment, Kurisu Makise, you should know that, yeah. Yeah, you basically, failed, basically. Net slang. Ruffle stands for short for rolling on the floor laughing. Other variants include laughing out loud, LOL, or LOL, ruffle mao, rolling on the floor laughing my ass off, and rufflecopter, like ruffle but with the helicopter. And we've seen through her disguise.
言い方はやめて。
俺はすでに気づいていた。そうとっくに気づいていたのだよ。お前からはアットチャンネラーとしての匂いのようなものがプンプンと醸し出されていた。
Basically, Kurisu is, in addition to being a girl genius scientific prodigy, is a social media junkie.
失礼だな。ちゃんと毎日香りがきつくない香水つけてるぞ。
We didn't mean literally.
そういう意味ではない。俺が言っているのは魂レベル。だが隠そうとするとはいじらしいな。アットチャンネラークリス。
We also have to remember, at this point in time, we were fully consumed by the persona of Hoin Kiyoma, the insane mad scientist.
その名で呼ぶな。
And Kurisu is pissed. Really pissed. Those were good times. Your soul's power level, huh? Dragon Ball Z reference for the win. We probably need a scouter to... We probably should have had a scouter to actually really read her soul's power level. But then again, Hoin Kiyoma can sense energy. My silly remark seemed to have a much deeper meaning now. Was the girl in front of me one day going to, as Dr. Leskinen had said, become a real artificial soul? When that happens, what are we supposed to call a soul that still existed in this world after the body is gone? Not dead or alive, but something in between. This wasn't science anymore. It was philosophy, or maybe religion.
バカな話はここまでにしましょう。岡部さんだってこんな中身のないことを聞きたくて来たわけではないわ。
Indeed, we were meaning to converse with you, Amadeus Kurisu. Although now that we're actually here, it's going to be incredibly tricky without breaking down.
そうやってごまかすところがますます怪しいですね。
This may sound natural coming from me, but I don't envy, yeah, I actually don't envy Maho at this point, who's bearing the weight of Kurisu's gaze at this
ウイル
moment.
スをぶち込むわよ。
嘘です。もう言いません。
And Amadeus Kurisu has realized that she's an AI. Kurisu quickly bowed her head. I bet back when Kurisu was still alive, she had a lot of conversations like this with Maho every day. I'm sure Dr. Leskinen had a lot of fun watching them. It was was actually kind of cute.
お騒がせしてごめんなさい岡部さん。彼女と何か話してみる？
I'll certainly give it a try.
おう。
The first time we met Kurisu Makise in person was on July 28th during Dr. Nakabashi's presentation, and the first time we met Kurisu's Alpha Worldline counterpart was at the ATF seminar, where she completely debunked or was completely against the theory of time travel, if memory serves. Mahu offered me the seat in front of the PC. Kurisu's face was on the monitor, right in front of me. When our eyes met, she smiled a little. I didn't know that she reacted like this to people when she first met them. But my meeting with Kurisu went about as badly as it possibly could have. I realized that her prickly attitude towards me could have been unusual for her.
どんなことでも聞いてください。可能な範囲でお答えしますから。
そうだな。
It's going to be really hard to come up with a topic of choice. This wasn't good. I was remembering every moment I'd ever spent with Kurisu. I couldn't think of what to say. And then the words came out of my mouth were...
タイムマシンは作れるだろうか。
That was what I'd once argued with Kurisu on another world line. In the end, I'd lost the argument completely.
はい？
I know it's completely out of left field, but consider it a theoretical
タイム
exercise.
マシーンですか？
何の話を始めるのかと思ったらいきなり何？
We've probably let slip a little clue as to our connection to the real Kurisu Makise.
ただのテストだよ。思考実験ができるかどうかっていう。
But fortunately, Rintaro, much to his credit, was able to make a quick save and keep himself under control.
どうクリス？
We put the question forward to the real Kurisu Makise. Now let's see what Amadeus Kurisu has to say about the matter. Given the fact that Amadeus has Kurisu's
そうです
memories,
ね。結論から言ってしまうとタイムマシンは可能ではない。
So apparently, according to Amadeus Kurisu, her conclusion is that time machines are not, and time travel are not possible after all.
けれど不可能とまでは言い切れないといったところでしょうか。
Or maybe not. Certainly a different answer from what we were expecting. That wasn't what she said.
最初に結論を言ってしまうとタイムマシンなんていうのはバカらしい代物だということです。
That's what Kurisu had said in the Alpha World line. I remember that well. Of course, we are in the Beta World line, and given the fact that she is, or at the very least was, Nakabachi's daughter, the man who was trying to stake his own claim to fame with time travel theory, the Kurisu of this world line did actually end up believing that time machines could be possible. of course, it goes without saying that Amadeus Kurisu
タイムマ
hasn't
シン
seen
な
the
んて
Nakabashi
バ
papers.
カらしい代物だと思うけどな。
And now we're trying to take Alpha Kurisu's logic. I remember our debate and decided to repeat what Kurisu had said then.
そう決めつけるのは早計ですよ。
But it seems that Amadeus Kurisu disagrees with that
そうか
sentiment.
な。確かに世界中の科学者がタイムトラベル理論を提唱している。主な理論だけで11あるが。
Yes, Kurisu did bring up the 11 major time travel theories.
どれも仮説の域を出ない。しかも理論同士が矛盾し否定し合っているものまである。
Basically, Rintaro's repeating what Kurisu told him word for word.
ええ。
And Amadeus Kurisu seems to agree.
例えば宇宙紐理論やワームホール理論。これらは思考実験としてはタイムトラベルを可能にするが。
The cosmic string theory and the wormhole theory. If you actually want to, if some of you new viewers are interested in going back in time, you can see the original debate between Ho and Kiyoma and Kurisu Makise in my 3rd episode of Let's Play Steins
そもそも宇宙紐だのエキゾチック物質だのどこからどう探してくればいいのか見当もつかない。
We are basically plagiarizing the real-life Kurisu, but Amadeus doesn't need to know
つま
that.
り現実的ではない。
This was also something that Kurisu had told me in the Alpha World line. But the Kurisu on the screen was unmoved.
それは科学者がまだ重大な何かを発見できていないからでしょうね。
That's certainly an interesting response, and in fact, I believe that Ho and Kiyoma himself made the same
それじゃあ
judgment.
君はタイムマシンをいつか作れると思っているのか。
不可能とまでは言い切れない。そう言いましたよ。
So even though it's not possible at the moment per se, that doesn't mean that it's not going to be impossible, that it's not going to be possible in the future. But Rintaro was hoping for the exact same response as Kurisu from the Alpha World line, but alas, no dice. Yeah, her opinion was slightly different, and something tells me we might have actually gotten the same, or at the very least a similar answer from the actual real-life beta Worldline Kurisu. Was this because I was in the beta Worldline? Or perhaps there's something more to this.
なあ、ヒアジョーさん。彼女は自分がオリジナルの記憶から派生した存在だということは認識しているんだよな。
If she's half as intelligent as the real Kurisu Makise, then it would stand to reason that Amadeus Kurisu knows that she's a digital copy.
もちろん。
Given the fact that Amadeus is sentient, self-aware, and extremely cognitive.
じゃあうまい例が思いつかないんだが、一卵性ソーセージみたいなことはあるのか。生まれた時は見分けがつかない。だが育つにつれて差異が出てくるとか、そういうこと。
I think it's more like worldline counterparts, such as the Alpha and Beta worldline Suzuhamanes, for example. They're the same person, but well, in the case of Suzuha, completely different personalities given their respective futures. But I think the events in there might be a slight, well, I was thinking in terms of divergence. There might be some slight elements in the world lines that differ from one
それに
another.
ついてはまだ検証中だけれど、蓄積されていく記憶が異なれば、当然元の人間とは違うものになっていくと思うわ。私と教授はそう考えている。
And since Amadeus Kurisu has completely different experiences from the either the Alpha and the Beta worldline Kurisus, basically Amadeus Kurisu will have her own unique experiences separate from the real Kurisu. It was then that I heard the door on the other side of the partition slam shut.
教授かしら。
Ah, it's Leskinen,
あの大きな足音はそうじゃないでしょうか。
and it seems that Kurisu is familiar with Leskinen, although that should be a given, seeing as they work together. I could definitely hear somebody stomping around outside. And then after a heavy knock, the door to the booth flung open.
Rintaro!
Well met, Leskinen. Rintaro, or Lintaro, because L in Japanese is R, because that basically means that there is no Japanese, no L in spoken Japanese. The professor opened his arms wide as he came inside. He grabbed my hand and began to wave it around. Also, you are the very first person to address Rintaro by his first name. Everyone else just calls him Okabe or Ocarine. I didn't realize that he was this friendly. He seemed to think he was giving me a handshake, but it felt like I was being worked over by a pro wrestler.
Hey boy, what's up?
And Leskinen speaks perfect English.
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
And Rintaro utters what little broken English he has.
ひどい英語ですね。
Nobody asks your opinion, Amadeus Kurisu.
Damare, Christina!
Oh no. And just like that, Amadeus Kurisu inadvertently triggered the very reaction that Rintaro Okabe should not have made.
クリスティーナ？
The name, the pet name that Rintaro had for Kurisu, the real-life Kurisu, when he inducted her into the Future Gadget Lab as its fourth member, number 004. The zombie, Celebsev, assistant, but first and foremost, Christina. And it's only now that Rintaro has realized his mistake. Oh no, I was so focused on the professor that I used my old nickname for her.
なんでもない。気にしないでくれ。
気になります。なんで私がクリスティーナなんですか？
This is, we've really put our foot in it this time, Rintaro. How are we going to explain
だから
this?
何でもないというのに。
That's what we get for mistaking Amadeus Kurisu for the real Kurisu.
なんでもない割には動揺してますよね。
And she's exactly as persistent as her real-life flesh and blood counterpart.
しつこいぞ、クリスティン。クリス。
Hopefully she lets it drop. I don't think she's going to let it drop. Kurisu and Maho both seem lost in thought.
Christina って呼んでいたのね。
You've probably put two and two together and worked out that Christina is the real
君も
Kurisu.
そこに食いつくな。
Never mind the embarrassment of calling an artificial intelligence Christina. I didn't want any more questions about this. Since the professor was here, I decided to ask more about how Amadeus's memories worked. Desperately trying to change the subject.
教授、アマデウスの記憶を外部から改ざんすることは可能なんですか？
That would actually pose a somewhat of a security risk. But the professor wasn't listening to my question. He seemed to be frantically searching his pockets for something. Come to think of it, I didn't see that translator device on his ear. He must have been looking for it, which meant odds were good he didn't even hear my question. Well, we'll just have to wait for him to
私
find
の
it.
記憶の改ざんですか？理論上は可能です。
Though we got a response from Amadeus Kurisu herself. Kurisu herself answered in the professor's
例えば
place.
私が自分の名前をクリスティーナであると思い込む、そう仕向けることもできるでしょう。
And she's still bringing that
た
up.
だ普通のデータと違い、記憶データはとても複雑です。今のところ改ざんに成功した例はないと認識しています。
I think that if someone were able to modify your memory from the outside, they could basically hack into your system and control your network.
仮に改ざんに成功した場合でも、私がそれに気づいて自分で修復してしまうでしょう。
But I would think that the security here is pretty top notch.
私は私以外アクセス不可の領域にログを取っていますから。
And apparently she backs up her data in a memory bank of sorts.
つまり秘密の日記ですね。
I wonder if the real life Kurisu actually ever had a secret diary.
そ
Thinking
の
about
日
it,
記
she
と現在
probably
の記
did.
憶との間に不自然な齟齬があれば、私は高い確率で疑問を抱きます。
Amadeus really is a intuitive little AI.
さらに言えば、私の記憶データは定期的にバックアップされています。
Just to ensure that the data logs are safe and that there's no sort of problems.
自己修復が不能なほどに改ざんされたとしても、復旧することが可能なんですよ。
Even if they were completely corrupted.
最終バックアップから改ざんされた時点までの記憶はなくなってしまいますが。
Yeah, there were... No matter how realistic Amadeus Kurisu is, she still has all the limitations of an artificial intelligence. No matter how sophisticated. Regardless of the topic of discussion, it felt strange. What Maho had said before she loaded Kurisu was true. I was starting to feel like I was chatting with the real Kurisu. The way she wouldn't let you get a word in edgeways when she started talking about science was exactly like the real Kurisu.
しかし興味深いな。
I turned towards Kurisu and spoke.
君は自分のことを機械として客観的に語ることができている。
Well, Amadeus is self-aware.
小説や漫画でよくあるパターンだと、自分は機械ではない人間だとか言い出しそうなものだが、
I think that's what one would expect.
それは全くナンセンスですね。人間そのものが自分をハードウェアとソフトウェアの組み合わせとして語るじゃありませんか。
And here comes the bright young
医学とか
neuroscience
心理学
scientist.
とかそういう名においてね。それとどこが違うんです？
That seems like a perfect quip that the real Kurisu would
な
make.
るほど。
さすがへりくつなら誰にも負けないわねこの子。
Indeed she is, Maho. When she heard this, Kurisu turned towards Maho, her CG eyes big and round. That was really just the camera sense moving.
ねえ先輩、余計なお世話かもしれませんけど、口が悪いのを少し直した方がいいですよ。せっかく春が来そうなのに嫌われたらどうするんです？
And Kurisu doesn't miss a beat and a chance to embarrass Maho even further.
だからその話に戻るのはやめなさい。
けど私にとっては今一番興味があります。
It seems that Amadeus Kurisu, like the real McCoy, is like a dog with a bone. Once she's got a hold of something, she never lets go.
一番どうでもいいことでしょそんなの。
Maho is getting very
これが人生
upset.
最後のチャンスだったらどうするんですか？
First, curiosity, worry, and amusement, and now Amadeus Kurisu has a somewhat of an angry demeanor.
あなたこそその口を改めなさい。
Maybe just my brain imprinting memories and perception onto this digital avatar of Amadeus Kurisu, but she literally does feel like she's actually genuinely angry. And the only one who finds all of this, all of these shenanigans hilarious is Leskinen. Yeah, this isn't really funny in the slightest. Leskinen was clapping his hands together and laughing. I had to chuckle a little too. Please forgive me, Maho. Afterward, the three of us, including the professor, talked to Kurisu, discussing technical subjects and making small talk. The next thing I knew, it had almost been an hour. Time flies. I actually felt a little sad when Maho told me that it was time to stop. Just in a single hour, the strangest I had felt about Amadeus Kurisu had disappeared, and I felt like I was really talking to Kurisu herself. Dr. Leskinen stopped me before I left. Wonder what he has to say to us.
テストをやる気はあるかな?
Now that we've actually seen the real thing in person with our own eyes, I would say that the insatiable curiosity of Kurisu Makise herself has struck my brain like a bolt of lightning. I tilted my head when I heard the professor speak through the translator.
エムテウスにはタヤ散歩が少なくてね、うちの研究室の子たちを総動員してはいるのだけれどね。
I think I'm starting to grasp where
とはいえ
you're going
ア
with
マデウスは
this.
まだ研究段階だし、誰彼構わず接触させるわけにもいかないわ。
Indeed, if an outsider ever got their hands on Amadeus, it would be a huge setback, not to
そこ
mention
で
a disaster.
テスの友人だったリンタロにぜひとも協力してほしいんだ。
So you want us to keep in contact with Amadeus Kurisu for 24 hours as a tester? I remembered they mentioned something about being a tester at the party, so this was what they were
私
talking
と教授
about.
はしばらく日本に滞在する予定なの。だからテスターをお願いするのはその間ということになるわね。
Well, I'm almost 95% certain that we're going to accept, but what I the conditions going to be?
あなたにしてもらいたいのは、とにかくクリスと対話を重ねてもらうこと。
So just interacting with Amadeus Kurisu. No pressure then.
具体的なノルマのようなものは特にないわ。気が向いたら話をするぐらいでいい。
That's it?
ただ、月に2回程度は私と教授にテスト経過の報告をしてほしいの。
Yeah, I understand that you'll want to keep track on everything, just to make sure that your experiment is a
それ
success.
と申し訳ないけれど報酬は出せないんだ。そこも含めて考えてみてほしい。
Looks like we'll be working gratis, for free. So
俺は
亡くした友人をそっくりそのまま再現した AI と話をさせる。それは君にとってとても残酷なことだとは理解しているつもりだよ。
not only that, but she was a dear colleague of both you and Maho as well, Iskanen.
乗り気でないのなら断ってくれていいからね。
Well, it's nice to know that we do have that option. I remembered what it had felt like to talk to Amadeus Kurisu. When the monitor was just about to turn off, this is what Amadeus Kurisu had said. Let's talk again sometime, Rintaro Okabe. That's what I'd hoped for when I came here, wasn't it?
やります。やらせてください。
Indeed, we actually have no reason or incentive to refuse at this point. I thought I was ready when I accepted the job, but I had never expected this. It's a message, but not just any message. It's a call from Amadeus. Amadeus Kurisu.
はい。
Well met, Amadeus Kurisu.
マキセですけど。
Amadeus Kurisu was displayed on the screen. Yes, it was Amadeus. The app that the professor had given me had allowed me to access the servers at Mitochondria University from anywhere, 24 hours a day. And I'll bring up the tips for the app. Short for application software. Any software that can be used by downloading it to your operating software. Usually on a phone.
岡部さんからクリスの方へ呼びかけることができるのはもちろんだけれど。
Well, that's it explains how we got the app to contact Amadeus
クリ
Kurisu.
スの方からあなたに呼びかけてくることもあるから、その時はうまく対応して。
We'll be sure to keep that in mind. And hopefully we'll do our best not to ignore her. This I hadn't predicted. I never thought she would call me. It's almost like we're actually speaking on video phone in person. And in a very weird sense, it actually feels like we're speaking into the afterlife. All that her face would be displayed on the screen.
それともクリスティーナですけどって自己紹介した方が良かったですか？
Well, that sounds like something that Kurisu would say, but knowing her, she wouldn't be caught dead announcing herself as Christina. Also, Amadeus Kurisu is wearing her lab coat and not the brown jacket that the real Kurisu Makise had. One might almost be tempted to think that this jacket is the second lab coat from the Future Gadget laboratory that originally belonged to Daru, but for obvious reasons he never wore it. So when Kurisu first joined the Future Gadget laboratory in the Alpha World line, she immediately sort of put it on and it became hers. She looked really mad. Just like the real Kurisu Makise, Amadeus Kurisu does not like the nickname Christina. I could guess why. I'd gotten 8 calls from Kurisu, and I'd ignored them all.
事情はレスキネン教授や先輩から聞いています。だから最初に一言こちらから挨拶しようと思っていたんですが。
Well, we could always claim that we were busy, but of course, Amadeus Kurisu is so persistent, and I'm not sure that she would buy that we were busy the whole 8 times she tried to get in
ま
contact
さ
with
か
us.
8回もイルスを使われるとは思いませんでした。
Yeah, she's really upset. What can we do?
なんで黙ってるんですか？
It's not like we can just pick up where we left off in the Alpha World line, or the Beta World line for that matter. If we could, then we might very well be talking to the actual Kurisu Makise, not an artificial incarnation. Talking to a realistic girl on my smartphone with so many people around was pretty embarrassing. I believe there are actually real-world apps with digital renditions of actual anime girls that people can actually download and interact with on their phones. Though, in hindsight, those renditions are a far cry from the sophistication of Amadeus Kurisu. She is the real deal. Make no mistake.
話す気がないならそれはそれでいいんですが。
Although, of course, I think it is more than just public embarrassment that is keeping Rintaro Okabe from communicating with Amadeus Kurisu.
なんなのよ。せっかくいつも以上に人と話せるチャンスだと思ってたのに。バカみたいじゃない。たく。
And there is the vaunted tsundere personality that is rising to the surface.
いずれにせよ、テスト中は私はあなたといつでもつながっていますから。
Like we could forget.
気が向いたら、どうぞ連絡してきてください。こっちも忙しいので、あなたの連絡にいつも出れるかどうかわかりませんけど。
Just like a real person. Man, what is this? More than that strangely polite, friendly Kurisu from yesterday. Angry, stubborn, more curious than anyone. The way she seemed to be constantly challenging you.
それでは、お邪魔しました。
Farewell, Amadeus Kurisu. Disconnected. Nope, I didn't mean to go into the main menu there. I realized that this was indeed Kurisu Makise. That was the girl I'd spent those 3 weeks with, lab member 004. My assistant Christina, aka Kurisu Makise. Her movements were a little bit more jerky than I'd seen on the computer in Dr. Leskinen's office, but evidently that was because of the smartphone. Yeah, those budget graphics. This alone was enough to make me feel like my heart was being squeezed dry. I stood still, holding the smartphone tight.
じゃなかった。オカリン、どうしたにゃ？
And at the worst possible moment, Ferris Nyan Nyan appears out of nowhere, like a wild Pokemon. Unfortunately, we don't have a Pokeball to capture her. Wouldn't that be nice? Anyway, that's it for this episode of Let's Play Steins 0. And when we return, adventurers, we shall see what Ferris wants to talk to us about, and also ponder our conversation with Amadeus Kurisu and the process. As always, until next we meet.